Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the Arizona Diamondbacks. It was a Cinderella season for the D-backs a year ago, defeating the Phillies and the Dodgers en route to their first World Series berth since 2001, but ultimately fell short to the Texas Rangers in the Fall Classic. Looking forward to 2024, the offense starts with Rookie of the Year Corbin Carroll. Last year, Carroll swiped 55 bags with 30 doubles, 10 triples, and smacked 25 out of the yard. Carroll is a rare talent with speed and power and will be a force in the Snakes lineup for many years to come. In the infield, switch-hitting Ketel Marte will be entering his 8th season with the D-backs. In 2023, his 25 homers were the most in the season since 2019, and he drove in 82 runs, finishing with a 128 OPS+. At first base, Christian Walker arrived in a big way for the D-backs in 2023, hitting a career-high 36 doubles, 33 home runs, and driving in a personal best of 103. Behind the plate, the D-backs are in great hands with Gabby Moreno, who hit 7 home runs and led all of baseball with 3.1 defensive WAR. He capped it off by winning his first career Gold Glove. Via the free agent market, the Snakes brought back former All-Star Lourdes Gurriel on a 3-year deal. Gurriel is coming off a season where he slugged 24 home runs after only hitting 5 in 2022. In another signing, the D-backs added left-handed hitting Jock Peterson, who is expected to get the bulk of the at-bats in the DH role. On the bump, Arizona will be led by ace Zach Gallen, who is coming off an impressive 17-win season with a 3.47 ERA over 34 starts. Behind him will be free agent addition Eduardo Rodriguez, who is signed to a 4-year, $80 million deal. On the back end, they will look for starter Brandon Pfaadt to replicate his postseason success, where he posted a 3.27 ERA over 5 starts. Lastly, in the bullpen, the D-backs will have a full season of Paul Sewald, who's coming off a 34-save campaign, and also Kevin Ginkel, who had an impressive 2.48 ERA in 60 appearances. Now, let's take a deeper look at the 2024 Arizona Diamondbacks. All right, guys, let's jump into it. Blake, D-backs have had a pretty good offseason so far, so what do you got?
Yeah, obviously, you bring in a guy that's capable of hitting the long ball, Eugenio Suarez. Not the greatest defender over at third base, but definitely fills the role that Evan Longoria filled last year for them. And obviously, you got the electrifying Corbin Carroll at the top. Guy that can hit bombs, steal bags, get on base any way you can. I love the Jock Peterson ad. I think he's been playing a little bit outfield in spring training, but he's going to primarily DH. Big left-handed bat in that lineup. They steal him over from the Giants, and then obviously you know I am a big fan of Gabby Moreno. He was drafted by the Jays and was in that Dalton Varsho trade, and he looks like he's going to be a really good catcher for the future for them. So there's a lot to like about this team. Obviously, coming off a World Series loss to the Rangers, but yeah, this they brought back the majority of the team, and they should be poised to have another good season.
Yeah, and they brought back Lourdes Gurriel early in the offseason, and it seems like it was a pretty team-friendly deal.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get all the details
Yeah,
here.
14
It
mil.
was a 3-year 42, and they
Yeah,
have a club option for 27, so it could be a 4-year deal. The
yeah,
M at 14 AAV. I think that, for a guy that came over and had success there, I mean, he was good in Toronto, but it was a different version of Lourdes Gurriel
yeah.
with the D-backs last year. So I think that that's going to be, they have him batting 8th, but he was a big part of their team last year and their success. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's,
Well, the
one,
last
two
couple
shifts
years
away.
in Toronto, he battled some wrist injuries, and that might have been the reason why the power numbers were down. But obviously, like they were back, he had 24 last year, so the power numbers were back for him. And he actually played a pretty good left field. I mean, he's not the greatest of route runners, but he made it work out there. So, and obviously, you got a young guy in Alec Thomas, like that's a young outfield, like that's two 24-year-olds in center and in right, and then you got the veteran Lourdes Gurriel out there. So, yeah, there's it's a pretty solid outfield for sure.
Yeah. And if we go down to the rotation, they're going to have Gallen and Merrill Kelly leading the charge. They also added Eduardo Rodriguez.
Yeah.
That was a 4-year deal as well at 80 million,
Yep.
20 million AAV. I don't know. Do you think that that's an overpay for him, or do you think that's right on par? I'm just looking at the market.
Yeah,
I mean, Marcus Stroman got 17. Would you rather have Marcus
personally,
Stroman, or would you rather have Eduardo
I would
Rodriguez?
rather have. I mean, I think Montgomery's going to sign for somewhere around there, maybe a tick higher. I'd rather have Montgomery than Eduardo Rodriguez, and I'd rather have Stroman too.
He had a
But
good year last year.
he did.
152 innings and
Yep.
26 starts, 330 ERA, but it was in the AL Central. I mean, let's just keep it real there.
Yep.
And then the only thing that's weary for me for Erod is just, I mean, I don't know about the personal life, but he kind of, from the outsiders looking in perspective,
Rub people
it
the
was a
wrong
weird
way.
deal with the Tigers,
Yeah.
right? When he went to the Tigers, he like missed part of the season. He didn't show up for spring training one year. Like, there's some red flags there that I don't know the
Well,
situation, like I
he
said,
vetoed the
but
trade to the Dodgers too.
yeah, so it was kind of a weird go with Detroit. So that would be kind of a red flag for me when it
Yep.
comes to Erod.
Yep.
As far as the baseball side of things, this is still a really good deal. The money aside,
Yep.
like that this guy's sliding in to be their three is going to pay dividends this year, especially with how stacked the Dodgers have gotten. I
Yep.
think this team and I think this team is still better than the Giants right now, even with their monster offseason that they've had.
Mhm.
Quietly very good offseason.
Yep.
But I like the pitching better with the D-backs, and quite frankly, I like the all-around baseball side of things in this lineup. I think this lineup is going to steal more bags,
Yep.
be more of an explosive type, small ball type deal than the Giants will be, and it showed last year. They stole a bunch of bases last year. I mean,
Yeah, they did.
54 from Carroll, 8 from Marte, 11 from Christian Walker, a big first baseman. All
Yep.
right. And
Yep.
then Perdomo had 16. Like they, you know, Jace Peterson had 15. So
Yep.
um
That's actually a
it's just
pretty
a different
solid
built team,
bench.
but
It's a pretty solid bench. Like they
yeah, it
bring in
is.
Grichuk to be your fourth outfielder. He's not the sexiest of players anymore. Like he's just like a guy that can mash against lefties if you have to, or he goes, or say somebody goes down with an injury, he slots in. So good vet guy to have. Has hit some bombs in the past, but let's go down to that starting pitching again. Like that's it's a pretty solid rotation. I mean, Merrill Kelly, even that Brandon Pfaadt. I mean, he pitched in some big moments for them last year in the playoffs.
Yeah,
He didn't do very good in the regular season, but he stepped up when they needed him in the postseason for sure.
100%. I'm more interested in this bullpen. I mean,
Yeah,
Paul
yeah,
Sewald for a full year,
yep,
that's going to be a big deal.
yep.
Um, this bullpen last year was kind of the weak
Underrated part.
spot.
Yeah.
Well, no, it was a weak spot for a
Oh, weak
while. I
spot.
mean,
Yeah, yeah,
Ginkel was good, and then they had to trade for Sewald. But in the beginning of the year, um, they went through that stretch of games where they almost fell apart,
yeah. They did.
and they
They
were losing games late. So I would have liked to see them add a little bit more in the bullpen. Um, obviously there's still time. There's still things that you can do. There's some people out there. I mean, I think let's go check this out. In the bullpen, they can do maybe. Oh, this is signed. Sorry about that. Unsigned. Maybe
where
Ryan
are we at with
Stanek.
where are we at with Stanek? Like I feel like that's an interesting name that's not signed.
Yeah. I mean,
Not much though, for sure.
Michael Gibbons
Yeah,
was on the D-backs before.
yeah.
Am I wrong?
He
Okay.
was. He was.
Um, Obviously there's not that many. They're losing Melanson, but he wasn't great for them the past couple seasons.
Yeah,
Alex Reyes, I feel like would be an underrated potentially signing. I mean, he's dealt with injuries, but if you can get him on track,
yeah.
get him in that bullpen when time matters,
Hmm.
and then potentially it has Matt Barnes on here, but I'm pretty sure he just signed a minor league deal with the Nats. Aaron Loop or Brad Hand, I wouldn't hate for this team.
Yeah,
They're not gonna be guys that they're not gonna be guys that are your eighth inning guy. You already have that guy in Ginkel.
yeah,
This is the sixth and the seventh right here.
yeah.
And they have how many lefties do they have? They have two. Oh, Man Supply was good in 22.
Yeah,
I remember that. He was an all-star that year. So
285. Yeah,
can you get him back to being that guy?
yeah,
Ryan Thompson will be good. They added him at the deadline also
yeah,
at a trade.
yeah.
So there's
That's
some
a
guys here, but I think it'll be better overall this season. It's just I just don't know if they have the bridge guys to get to the ninth.
Do they have anybody on the injured list? Do you go down?
No,
No, no, nobody hurt.
no,
So yeah, that's pretty much. I don't see this team adding much more. I mean, I think this lineup is pretty set in stone.
yeah.
Obviously the
I
big
don't see
additions.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't see them getting a Montgomery. I don't see them
no,
getting a Snell.
no.
I don't see. I mean, what's their payroll like? 143. We come down to luxury tax. 190. So this is pretty high for the
It
D-backs.
is. Oh, for sure it is.
Um, 190. That might be higher than like a bigger market like the Angels. I think the Angels are at 188. So they're
Well, and good on them for the good on the ownership for kind of rewarding these young players. I mean, they go to the World Series, you bring in a guy like Jock and you bring in a guy like Rodriguez. So yeah, it's and Eugenio Suarez who has hit 25 plus bombs in the past. Like this, it's a good lineup.
yeah. No, I like this team a little
Yeah.
bit more looking at it today. I know we did the Giants in the past, and I was you know I was looking at that and like okay. I think we did it. We did a small outlook when we did the Matt Chapman
Yep.
sign video. If you guys want to go check that out.
Hmm.
Um, but I think now looking at it with a little deeper lens, I think the D-backs are a better team than the Giants right now. The Padres we haven't really gotten to yet, but they
Yeah.
still have no outfield, and I mean they have the stars there, but you know what are we going to get out of Musgrove and Darvish? A full year of health or, stuff like that. Michael King.
Yep.
But, going back to the D-backs, they were in second last year. They actually haven't been a game worse this year.
Hmm.
Um, I think they've improved.
Yep.
I could see their win total being in the 86 range. I would take the over here at
Yeah.
83.
I would too.
And then, like I said, they have the Giants and the Padres right behind them. I think they are better than the Giants and the Padres right now.
Yeah. I think I would agree.
Um,
Yeah.
I think this is pretty accurate. I think they'll be in the wild card race once again. Um, and then we just gotta see what happens. You guys saw it last year, Cinderella season just came up a little bit short.
Yep.
So maybe this is the year, D-backs fans. All right, Blake, you got anything to add?
Nope. It's good.
All right, cool. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Later, guys.